Okay, good. Parsha Azinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Zachor yemot olam binu shno dor vador." He's not talking here about the study of history, as important as that may or may not be. Zachor yemot olam binu shno dor vador refers to the processes of history that fall upon us. In all processes, there are individual events. The individual events color the process, but they are not the process itself. The Gemara says the world is divided into 6,000 years of processes. So the first 2,000 years, the Gemara says, are tohu vavohu, chaotic. No central theme that governs civilization. That's really Avodah Zorah. Because Avodah Zorah has no central theme. It has a plurality of gods, has many issues, many different cultures. There's no unifying force for humanity. And that leads to the chaos. And chaos leads to violence, to cruelty, which are all symptoms of this fact. So then the Gemara says the next 2,000 years is Torah, meaning from Avraham Avinu onwards. So there's a time of Torah. So Torah given to Klal Yisrael, but through Klal Yisrael, Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach given to the world, provides a unifying theme. It provides a basis for a common civilization, for an agreement amongst people, the basic moral values. It's when that agreement is shattered that we revert back to the first 2,000 years, again to a world of chaos. So for the process of history, for a long period of time, is that the world had, especially after the fall of the Roman Empire and the end of paganism in the West, a basic theme of morals that did not stop the world from being a violent place, and it did not stop all sorts of cruelties and murders. Basic moral foundation. That's called the process of Torah. We agree as the basic moral foundation of what we will or will not do. We notice that in society, the basic agreement to observe certain laws is what allows society to exist. I mean, there are not enough police in the world to enforce that cars should stop at a red light. But there's a basic agreement in society that we stop at a red light not a yellow, but in a red. Then the Gemara says we enter the period that we live in, Yemos HaMashiach. Yemos HaMashiach is a struggle for a better world. A struggle for a greater civilization. The Rambam, in his description of Mashiach in Hilchos Malachim, paints a very bland picture of the Jewish people. By legend, we have attached many things to Yemos HaMashiach. But the Rambam says, for instance, Yemos HaMashiach and Tchiyat HaMeisim are two different things. They have nothing in common. They don't have to occur at the same time. The Rambam says that Yemos HaMashiach is that it'll be a better civilization. A world that somehow will accommodate goodness. And that in order to achieve it, it's a struggle. It's a tremendous struggle. And we see, if we look only honestly at things, the last few hundred years, really from the 18th century onwards, the struggle of Yemos HaMashiach reflects itself in different areas. One area was secularism, the denial of God and religion, that it has no place in society. So that definition of Yemos HaMashiach, to a certain extent, restores us to the world of Tohu Vavohu, because secularism has no basic moral foundation. Everybody is equal. Everybody can do what they want to do. So there's no means of achieving anything better. As far as the Jewish people are concerned, Yemos HaMashiach always dealt with the return to Eretz Yisrael. That somehow the Jewish people would come home again. In 1800, it looked to be a pipe dream, something that could not happen. But a process began. And that process is Yemos HaMashiach. And because of that process, which we are still in the middle of, a great changes has happened in the world and in the Jewish world. And it continues to flow in that direction. So Moshe says, Chor Yemot Olam, always remember that you're part of a process. You have to see where you're at. Which section of time are we living in? Binu shnos dor v'dor. Think about it. The years, the generations. Think about what the world was 100 years ago. what the world was 50 years ago, what we were last year. And this is all part of the divine process to bring us to a better place, to make us better people. And that's the influence it should have upon us. And slowly, we see that that is part of the process. But you have to see yourself in context, not individual events. It's not just this event, this headline. Part of the problem of the media that we have in our time is that no event lasts longer than 24 hours. Another event that wiped off what was the news yesterday. So we have no time to process it. We have no time to think about it. No time to realize what happened. And that's why he said, Binu, snows over the door. Think about it. Think about the year that passed. Think about the generations. It says, Shalavicha v'yageidcha skenecha v'yomulach. So my Rebbe used to say, you should ask yourself, what would your father say about it? What would the elders say about it? Go back 200 years, what would they say about it? Then maybe you could see it in context. But if we have no connection to that, and that's really one of the great tragedies of the Shoah, especially for Ashkenazi Jewry, is there's nobody to ask. The few people that were left were busy to try to rebuild whatever we could. But no one talked about it. No one put it in the context. So it remains an open sore. Now, Moshe challenges us, especially our times, our generation, our year. In Chumash it says that they said, what is God doing to us? What's the interpretation of events? So we can only see it in context, in the context of Yemos HaMashiach, in the process of hundreds, if not thousands of years. And it's very difficult for us. It's, it's like someone, La'avdul, walks into a theater, and he comes in the middle of the play. He doesn't know what the beginning was, and he leaves in the middle. He doesn't know what the end is going to be. And then someone asks you, well, how did you enjoy the play? So the Torah and the Tanakh try to provide us at least with the context of how to view things. And we live now in a biblical generation, in a generation of Tanakh. All the stories are in front of our eyes. So we have to see that also in context. And we also have to realize that we have a vital role to play, because the story is always made up of individuals. an individual act